come on up. The compact before us today is one which was executed on February 1st, 2015, between Governor Brown on behalf of the state of California and the Jackson Rancheria tribe in Amador County. This compact allows the tribe to operate up to 1,800 slot machines, provides that the tribe will share approximately 8% of the casino's net wins with tribes that are not gaming or substantially benefiting from gaming. This compact contains no revenue sharing requirement between the state and the tribe relating to payments being paid into the general fund. However, the tribe will be required to make payments into the special distribution fund, the SDF, as specified. For those of you unfamiliar with the Senate's procedure relative to compacts, the established policy in the Senate for ratification of tribal state compacts provides for an informational hearing relative to the essence of the compact, and it is not amendable by the legislature. The vehicle for ratification of this compact has been identified as AB 475 by Bigelow, which is currently pending in the Assembly. At some point in the near future, AB 475 will be referred to the Senate floor and taken up for consideration by the Senate as a whole. I would like to thank our witnesses in advance for taking time out of their busy schedules to be with us today. Welcome, Mr. Bigelow. I'm so happy that you're on time. After we take testimony from the individuals listed on the agenda, the opportunity for public comments will be made available for proponents and opponents of the compact. Let's begin by welcoming our dear friend, Assemblymember Bigelow, who looks so distinguished but so tardy to this very fine hearing. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My sincere apologies not only to you but to all the members. It was my understanding we had 3 other items in front of us. So as I heard your kind voice speaking, I said, oops. So I am here. So without any further fun, we will begin.
Please do, sir. It's good to see you as always.
As well. It is my privilege today to have the committee hear AB 475 for the purpose of this informational hearing. With me today are several witnesses in support of AB 475 who will help explain the details of the Jackson Rancheria's new compact, the history of the tribe, and the local support for ratification of this compact. We will begin with Mr. Joe Dillon from the governor's office, who will help provide details of the new compact. We will follow Mr. Dillon with the tribe's vice chairman, Mr. Earl Dalton, and CEO of the Jackson Rancheria, Mr. Rich Hoffman, for a background on the tribe and their existing facility, and as well as what we might need to know and not need to know about the Jackson Rancheria Resort. Next, we will have testimony from the Amador County Supervisor, Richard Forrester, in regards to the local support for this measure. Also, we will conclude with Mr. Jack Gibbon, representing Unite Here, AFL-CIO. We also have Ms. Kathy Christian, representing the tribe as well, to answer any questions. I hope you will find today's hearing very informative and will be able to support AB 475 when it comes before you.
Very good. Thank you for your opening, and now we'll hear from Mr. Dillon. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Chairman, Senators. The primary objective of this compact is to generate revenue for the tribal government through fair and honest gaming activities to ensure that the government can provide programs and services that improve the quality of lives of the people that it serves. This compact does that, and because of that, we ask for your support. But it does a lot more than just simply create a framework that allows this tribe to thrive and grow into the future, in large part because of this tribe's historical commitment to sharing its success with others. As the chairman mentioned, the compact provides that the tribe will contribute 8% of net win in excess of 350 gaming devices into the revenue sharing trust fund. There's a credit that allows 40% of those payments to be reduced for certain programs that further local mitigation or otherwise ensure that the money is used for mutually beneficial purposes within Amador County. I'd like to talk about each of those in a little bit. Even if the tribe uses all of its credits, and we expect that they will, it will become one of the largest contributors to the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund, which is pretty remarkable for a medium-sized gaming facility. The Revenue Sharing Trust Fund, as you know, was created in the 1999 compacts, which reflects a commitment by the gaming tribes in the state to ensure that all tribes, regardless of location or their desire to open or operate a gaming facility, get the benefit of the gaming revenue generated by tribal casinos in the state of California. That fund has never had sufficient revenues to meet all of its obligations. That's $1.1 million to each of those eligible beneficiaries. Currently, there are 71 of those tribes in the state of California. So this compact at least moves us in the right direction towards addressing that shortfall. Now, and it's also a significant increase in what this tribe has paid historically with regard to contributions to the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund. Now, with regard to the credits, those credits go towards a variety of things, such as paying for law enforcement, other public safety, fire, broadly to include things like tourism, parks, education, and other mutually beneficial investments, including economic diversification by the tribe or renewable energy projects and healthcare facilities that are open not just to tribal members, but to members of the community. So it's something that isn't addressed in the 99 Compact, and it provides a more effective, efficient way to ensure that tribal leaders and local leaders can work together to address the needs of their community in a way that's fair to the tribe and serves those local interests. The money paid to the state through this compact actually decreases, but that's okay. So let me talk about that just a little bit. The 99 Compact created two funds, the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund, which we've talked about, and the Indian Gaming Special Distribution Fund. The SDF served a number of different purposes. It paid for the state's regulatory cost. It covered the costs of our problem gambling programs. It also backfilled the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund, and through a complex formula, provided funding, if any money was left over, to local mitigation. What we've done in this compact is hopefully provide more money to the Revenue Sharing Trust Fund to address that, create a framework so money could stay locally. So through that, we've alleviated the pressures on the SDF and focused the money that goes into the SDF just on the regulatory costs and problem gambling. So therefore, we can reduce the amount the tribe pays for that purpose. And what they do pay is simply based on a pro rata share of the number of slots that they have versus, the number of slots available in the state as a whole. So it's just a fair way to allocate the state's regulatory costs to this tribe. So just a couple of other things. I mean, those are the economic provisions. I just wanted to touch on a couple of other things that we worked on as we negotiated this compact. One was to build on this tribe's exceptional history in terms of developing a very professional regulatory agency. IGRA creates a framework of shared responsibility between the tribe and the state with regard to ensuring that gaming is conducted fairly and honestly. The Jackson Rancheria Tribal Gaming Agency has a history of being exceptionally professional, and we sat down with the tribe's representative and with folks from the Bureau of Gambling Control to scrub that relationship, to ensure that the incidents that were being reported to the state were the kinds of incidents that needed to be reported, to ensure that where information was being shared, it was being done in a way that was efficient and got the information to the state that was necessary without imposing any, overly burdensome requirements on the tribe. So we built on the history that they have and created a framework that I think serves both the tribe and the state going forward. Another area that we scrubbed as we looked at this compact in relation to the 99 Compact was in terms of providing flexibility with regard to access to capital markets. So generally, again, we have a shared responsibility. The tribe issues the initial license. The state, for certain entities or individuals, reviews applications and makes determinations that an individual entity is suitable for licensure. So in the case of individual employees, everybody gets licensed by the tribe. Certain key employees apply to the state for finding of suitabilities, those folks with supervisory responsibility or who have certain access or make certain discretionary decisions. Financial sources was an issue where I think it was broadly defined to include any indirect or direct funding to the tribal gaming operation. But we recognized early on that really wouldn't work well in terms of allowing the tribes to get access to the capital market. So in 2002, the Gambling Control Commission promulgated a regulation which which provided some flexibility. So where, for instance, you had a large federally regulated financial institution, that institution could provide, funds to the tribe without having to go through the licensure provision. Unfortunately, that regulation, defined the capital markets as they existed back in 2002. So what we've done here is to provide some additional flexibility and to allow the tribe.
Let me interrupt you just for a second. I want to establish a quorum real quickly. We still one shy? All right, can we call our colleagues on the right and tell them that we need to please get to the committee room so we can establish a quorum? Thank you. And that would be who we're looking for. Yeah, just call the members and see if they can get down here real quickly. Thank you.
No, just what this compact tries to do is to reflect the current state of markets and realize that we need some flexibility going forward. So those are the high points, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. All right, so now we'll move to Mr. Dalton and Mr. Hoffman. The vice chair, it's good to see you again, sir. And the CEO, also Mr. Hoffman of Jackson Rancheria. Thank you both for coming down again today. It's good to see you. Very productive meeting last week, and look forward to working with you moving forward. Who would like to go first?
I guess I'll start it off.
Please, Mr. Chair.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Earl Dalton. I'm the vice chairman of the Jackson Rancheria Band of Miwok Indians. My tribe has occupied our land in Amador County for generations and has been a federally recognized Band of Miwok Indians for over 100 years. We're here to ask the legislator to ratify the tribal state compact that our tribe has recently negotiated with the state of California. We have had a compact with the state of California since 1999, and we built a successful casino and hotel in that time. The revenue from that project have been very important to the tribe's efforts to improve the lives of the tribal members and plan for our future. In consideration of Amador County and the city of Jackson, we have also negotiated several local agreements dealing with the impacts of our resort. The new compact, however, has some important improvements that benefit the state, the tribe, non-gaming tribes, and our local governing neighbors. Two of the most important improvements are: one, the tribe is substantially increasing its contributions to the revenue sharing trust fund. And two, the tribe is able to make significant contributions to infrastructure and other projects that are agreed on with local Amador County jurisdictions. Although the tribe has no plans for expansion, if any significant changes are made, we have agreed to undertake environmental review of new project and mitigate the off-reservation impacts of the new project. Finally, out of respect for the rights of our employees, the tribe has agreed not to interfere with their decision about whether to join a union. We believe that each tribe has the right to negotiate the compact that is best for its interest. Negotiated compact terms may be different for other tribes, but we urge you to swiftly ratify our compact, which we believe is fair and provides the tribe with certainty and confidence to plan for the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Hoffman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate the opportunity. Just a little background on Jackson Rancheria. Margaret Dalton, Earl's grandmother, was our tribal chairperson for 30 years. She read about the Seminole tribe in Florida operating a high-stakes bingo hall in the 80s and opened up the first, one of the first high-stakes bingo halls in the state. And then as time moved on, negotiated, was one of the original negotiators for the 99 compact. So we've been in the gaming business for about 30 years, about an hour east of here in the Sierra foothills. We have 1,675 slot machines currently. The 99 compact allowed us up to 2,000. So you can see this is a bit of a reduction from there. But as the market matures, we feel it's an appropriate number for us. We have roughly 45 table games, a hotel with 90 rooms, an RV park with 1,000 spots. We've, with gaming revenue, constructed a road through the Rancheria that connects the casino to the state highway, which has taken considerable pressure off of our local county roads. We've contributed to the sheriff's office, district attorney's office, mitigating off-reservation impacts, public works projects, our local fair to keep that afloat. So we feel like we have great relationship with our local jurisdictions, both county and city, and this compact will allow us to explore even new and better opportunities, reinforce those opportunities moving forward, and I'll reserve any time you like for questions at the end.
Thank you, Mr. Hoffman. Why don't we go ahead and establish a quorum?
Hall.
Present.
Hall present. Berryhill. Berryhill present. Block. Gaines. Galgiani. Galgiani present. Hernandez. Hernandez present. Hill. Hill present. Waso. Lara. McGuire. McGuire present. Vida.
Okay, a quorum has been established. We do not have Mr. Gribben, but do we have a representative for Mr.? Okay.
Don't think he
All right.
made it.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Mr. Forrester, the county supervisor. Thank you for being present with us today, and you may begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members. Today, I'm not only representing the County of Amador, I've been asked by City Councilman Wayne Garibaldi from City of Jackson to represent the City of Jackson, and I'm also representing the I Own Business and Community Association. But I'll speak on behalf of Amador County fully supports Assembly Bill 475. We feel that the terms of the renegotiated compact are beneficial to government and organizations within Amador County. And I'll speak personally. Members of Jackson Rancheria have been pillars of our community and strong partners with Amador County for over 30 years. I knew Margaret Dalton, who was the founder of the Rancheria, and she would literally give the shirt off her back for people in the community before they had a casino operation. So she cared about people. What I find with the Tribal Council to this day is that they continue that spirit of caring for people, caring for the community, as well as taking care of their own tribal members. So in that spirit, we feel incumbent to support this. Regarding funding for the county, we feel that the tribe has gone above and beyond mitigating their impacts to the county. Special Distribution Fund is now dry. The tribe, when Special Distribution Fund was fully funded, the tribe went above and beyond that to mitigate the impacts. And to this day, they continue to try to fully mitigate all impacts to the county. I will go beyond that to say that the tribe in our county supports many entities, all the way from large Sutter Amador Hospital down to just local community associations, and really goes above and beyond in supporting our community, our county. And we thank the governor and the administration for recognizing that the compact renegotiated has to be good for the state, but it also has to be good for the local where the tribe is located. And we thank you for listening today.
No, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Thank you for your presence today, and it's always good to have our representatives from local government present to add in or to me too, if you will, when it comes to the ratification of our compacts. It's good to see that our compacts are working in good favor and good stead with our local government. So again, thank you, Mr. Supervisor, for being present. I believe we have someone here to speak on behalf of labor, correct?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mitch Seaman with the California Labor Federation, also here in support of the ratification of the compact. For all the reasons that have been previously stated, but we'd also like to point out that the agreement includes very real provisions to make sure that workers have a say in how they're represented on the job. That for workers, it's incredibly important that not only a job have living wages, decent benefits, and good working conditions, but also that we have a real voice in those, and also that we have some dignity in how that process is determined and how those conditions are determined. And so on behalf of both the Federation of Labor and also Unite Here, we're in strong support.
Thank you so much for your presence and for me tooing, if you will. Are there any others here in support of the ratification? Please come forward. You can have a seat right there.
Good morning, Chairman Hall. This is Chris Lee on behalf of the California State Association of Counties. We also want to commend the Governor's Office and the Jackson Rancheria Band of Miwok Indians for negotiating a compact that does so much to encourage mitigation for the off-reservation impacts of the tribe's casino. CSAC's fundamental policy is to support agreements that facilitate positive interactions between tribes and local governments, and we think this compact is a good example of one that does that, and will make sure that as the tribe continues their economic development and growth, that the county services don't have to bear any unreasonable impacts. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you for your presence this morning. Any others in support, please come forward. Seeing none, any here in opposition? All right, any comments, concerns? Dr. Hernandez.
So I have some questions with regard to the membership. How many total in the tribe?
Sorry, Senator. There are 18 voting members in the tribe.
Okay. And then,
A member becomes a voting member at age 18. So
and then how many of them live on the reservation, or are they off reservation, or?
most live on the reservation. There are roughly 35 family members that are on the rancheria.
Okay. You guys also mentioned infrastructure. You were planning to work in collaboration with the local county and cities, but nothing slated on the books yet for projects, or what are some of the projects that you're looking at with the cities?
Well, we have an ongoing relationship in terms of understanding the impacts as they relate to law enforcement, the jail. We just recently developed a relationship with Amador Fire Protection District to cover fire services on the rancheria, but it also supports fire services generally within the region. There are various public works projects. One, I know that we've inquired to the county as to whether we can help is the stoplight project on a county road that leads to the rancheria. That's an example of a public works project. The tribe has also spent a couple of $1 million over the last couple of years rebuilding parks in Amador County and baseball fields, and rebuilding the roundhouse, the ceremonial roundhouse at Indian Grinding Rock State Park, which had years of deferred maintenance and was falling down. The tribe's been involved in ongoing collaboration with the state parks on that. So those are examples of some recent projects.
And you had mentioned there's 1,650 Class 3 gaming devices, 36 table games in this current compact. Are you looking to increase at all? Because you said the last compact had up to 2,000, I believe, or 2,500. Are you looking to expand that, or are you going to maintain the same number of tables?
Yeah, Senator Hernandez, right now, that's what the market is calling for, and we feel the market is maturing. So we feel that 1,800, we can work comfortably under that over the course of this compact. And we currently aren't seeing the market drive a need for additional table games either. So I think we're in a good spot.
Right. So this new compact, you're going to ask for increased number of gaming devices then?
The new compact actually lowers the number from 2,000
That's
to
why I said, because it
1,800.
was 2,000 before.
Right.
So, okay, all right. And then I don't remember the year, but when is this supposed to expire? Is it 2025 or 20? What is the year of expiration?
Yeah, our current compact expires in 2019.
2019. So you're a little ahead of the game, and what's the reason for doing it now as opposed to slightly later? Any particular reason? Because we're in 2015. It's getting close, but it's, I mean.
Well, I think in terms of just continuing to operate a business, no one wants to negotiate something at the last
minute.
hour.
Right. Okay, all right, thank you.
Mr. Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for coming up here today. I think that you've done a wonderful job. The Rancheria has done a good job from inception. You're completely engaged with the community, giving back a lot. We had a very good talk with the chairman here the other day. I am very comfortable with the fact that you guys are coming out early. I think that's a really good idea. You're in a real good spot. I'm comfortable with this compact, Mr. Chairman, and at the time, when time's right, I'd like to move this bill.
Very good, thank you. Mr. Vice Chair, any other comments, concerns? No, we're not going to, the bill doesn't come up for a vote today. We're just going to ratify it. It'll come up on the Senate floor to be heard as a body in the near future, and we'll vote for it on the floor. Mr. Bigelow, any other, are there any other comments you'd like to add before we?
I would just like to, apologize for being a little tardy earlier.
Yeah,
but I also would like to.
There is that.
Yes, I know. But anyway, I know the chairman has a kind spot in his heart. I see some of you may have had experiences more with them. But anyway, I would just like to say.
Dr. Hernandez said that's debatable.
Hopefully, I'd just like to say, hopefully this has been an opportunity for you to get more informed and comfortable with this bill as it moves through the process. I hope you can support it. Each of these folks here have shown a willingness to negotiate and work through the difficult issues that are facing every compact. So thank you so much today for this hearing.
Thank you, Assembly Member, and to the Chair, to the Vice Chair, and to the CEO. You have an awesome author. He's a hard worker. I've worked with Mr. Bigelow on a compact before. We've worked together on the Assembly side on GEO, and you couldn't have, in my honest opinion, a more noble member representing you and carrying this compact for you. So again, thank you for being here, Assembly Member, and thank you all for your presence today, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you. All right. And also, let me just, for the record, that's on the Assembly side. On the Senate side, Assembly Member Barry Hill is the, Senator Barry Hill is the co-author of the compact. Yes, I am. And you too are noble. Thank you, Mr. Chair. All right. I believe we have, Senator Anderson, please come forward. Okay, Senator Anderson, this is a due pass recommendation, and you may begin.
SB 624 ensures that state web pages, software, documents, and mobile applications are compatible with assistive technologies. Is essential for enabling all Californians to interact with government. Currently, persons with disabilities don't have access to some of our state government websites. Additionally, low-income Californians with slower internet connections, older browsers, or those accessing the internet in facilities with poor lighting or noisy surroundings also suffer from not having access to. SB 624 would benefit all these Californians with access by providing an update to user-friendly interfaces. California has a legal obligation to provide employees and the public with accessible technologies. Title II of the American Disabilities Act, ADA, prohibits discrimination in any public service, program, or activity. Additionally, Section 508 was added to the Federal Rehabilitation Act in 1998, requiring federal agencies to make all technologies accessible to persons with disabilities. While these standards only apply to federal government, California extended these requirements to all state agencies in 2002 through the passage of SB 105, burden. Despite existing laws and policies, state agencies are failing to provide an acceptable level of accessibility for their technology products. An automated review of 360 state agency homepages linked from the state's main portal reveals that 84% appear to have at least two Section 508 compliance issues that would restrict access for users with disabilities. SB 624 will establish a dedicated Office of Accessibility Technology in the Department of Technology as the state agent responsible for achieving and maintaining Section 508 compliance.
Very good. Thank you. Senator, you have witnesses
I
here?
do have some witnesses with me.
Please.
Go ahead. Yes,
Please. Thank you for being here. You may begin.
Thank you. My name is Carrie Schender, and I am here in part to thank each one of you for whatever role you may have played in moving us ahead with respect to equitable opportunities in the work world and simply in understanding how our government works and having access to government operations. Since I have been legally blind from the age of 13, all of my high school, undergraduate, and graduate study was done prior to the terminology that is so common now, saying reasonable accommodations. So if time were to permit us, I could let you know about a lot of really unreasonable situations, but I won't go through that. I simply want to say that there is a need for us to take a look at what is truly accessible. When I taught at the community college level in Monterey County, and when I was literacy coordinator for the Monterey County literacy program under the aegis of the California State Library System, there were times when I could not complete my work responsibilities without additional help. Sometimes that help was not as professional as it should have been. And I'll give you some specific examples. Many times there are state-mandated reports which need to be filled out online. And if you have someone who isn't too excited about doing that and whose job is really to be a secretary, not to be the director of the program, that work may not be filled out in as careful a manner and as precise a manner as necessary, and yet it's my signature that goes on those reports. I feel that we need to have all of our state-mandated reports be totally accessible to someone who is totally blind, and that is possible. We do have the technology. When I led a group of people to Spain, I made sure that as an interpreter and as a leader, I would have time to visit ONCE, which is La Organización Nacional de los Ciegos de España, the National Organization of the Blind. And I found that in Spain, they do have their technology up to the point at which a blind lawyer can complete his work without worrying that someone in a, quotes, lesser position may not be quite as committed to the professionalism of that report. And just to give you an example of what can happen, my adaptive technology reads, I'm a good touch typist, but whereas you would drag and drop and you would use your mouse to move to something, I use a combination of control, tabbing, right and left arrowing, and using some of those other help keys to move the cursor around on the screen. If a news report or something coming out of the state that is a newsletter does not have enough white space between the columns, my adaptive technology will read across the columns rather than down the columns. And so that means it becomes effectively gibberish. We don't want gibberish when we're dealing with what is so important as our state government and all of its agencies. If a report has, or a state-mandated reporting form has too many divisions in it, little sections divided off, my adaptive technology may miss one of those places, which then renders my report incomplete because the technology has read across, skipped down, gone to the next thing, and my eyes I have about 3% of my vision at this point, and no central vision, and the peripheral is going. And so I'm not going to tell that there is something over here that really is part of making that report complete. My request of this group is that as you deal with this excellent proposed legislation, you make certain that there are also focus groups. I read the proposed legislation very carefully, and I'm interested in making certain that as you have these public information officers, as you build in these security people who will be the security officers, you include focus groups who can test whatever it is that is happening at each one of the agencies to make certain that what looks good in the letter of the law is actually good in its applicability for the people who will be the consumers. Obviously here, I'm speaking only as a person with very limited sight, and you would want also to look at what is necessary for people with manual dexterity issues, those kinds of things. But I'm sure that you will be considering those things as well. And I really thank each one of you for your time. I'd be very happy to answer any questions. I did work as project manager some years ago under the California State Library System for accessibility to underserved library users, and that it was around 3 counties and included people with whatever physical disability as well as underserved language populations. So I have lots more I could tell you, and I know my time is up. Thank you.
Well, it was certainly delightful hearing your testimony for such an important cause as this. Senator Anderson, thank you for bringing this bill forward. Certainly, I'd like to be added as a co-author. I'm sure there's going to be some amendments taken further down the line. When that happens, I'd love to be added as a co-author on this important piece of legislation. We have another witness before us today. Sir, you may begin. Thank you for being present.
Technology, one of the points is that the access technology benefits the majority of people. There's on the back side of the fact sheet is a research report done by Forrester Research, commissioned by Microsoft, which shows it's a wise investment. So the fact sheet, just from a pure economic standpoint, investment in the society, making people productive and not creating second-class citizens because they can't be productive, there's a responsibility there. On the compliance side, it's a $4,000 minimum statutory file for a access violation. The Commission on Disability Access was formed in response to a lot of the drive-by lawsuits. We're going to have surf-by lawsuits. You don't have to go out of your home in order to have an access violation. The state cannot afford to do nothing. It's too expensive. So I've presented some factual information here, and I'd be glad to be a resource for anybody in helping this bill be effective.
Thank you. Any other witnesses here in support? Any other witnesses in opposition? We have questions, comments, concerns from the members. Senator Galgiani moves the bill. Please call the roll.
Motion is due pass and re-refer to appropriations. Hall.
Yes.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Berryhill, aye. Block. Gaines. Galgiani. Galgiani, aye. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Hill. Hill, aye. Waso. Lara. McGuire. Vidak.
Okay, it currently has 5, needs 6. We'll keep the roll open for the absent members. Again, thank you for this important piece of legislation. Look forward to working with you on this moving forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator. All right. Okay, Dr. Hernandez moves the consent calendar. Please call the roll.
Hall.
Aye.
Hall, aye. Berryhill. Berryhill, aye. Block. Gaines. Galgiani. Galgiani, aye. Hernandez. Hernandez, aye. Hill. Hill, aye. Waso. Lara. McGuire. Vidak.
Okay. The consent calendar has 5, needs 6. We'll wait for the absent members. And we're waiting on Senator Waso and Senator Stone. Senator Waso and Senator Stone. Yes. Let's throw a stone over to Natural Resources and get his attention.